And we have returned. I like how you, as soon as I said hungrily, you just went to the cannibal place, like right away. Like that was immediately where your brains went.
Looking at you hungrily?
I mean, you know, hungry, they don't have to necessarily be
They
hungry.
want to steal your stuff.
Yeah, they want to steal your shit. They're not,
like your skin and muscles to eat.
For you know.
Oh, hell.
Alright, so I'm just, I'm populating a couple of the, I'm making myself character sheets for a couple of the folks that you might meet. So, you are taken then, to a large wooden pole that's erected in the middle of the camp. You didn't notice it necessarily before, but it's just, yeah, it's just like a big wooden, like, log, essentially, that's been, like, hammered into the ground. It's maybe, like, 10 feet tall, unadorned for the most part. And then at just above head level, around the edge of the pole, there are metal rings that have been hammered into it. And the woman that has you, she takes you over, and she ties the rope through a couple of these rings, and, like, ties it off. And she says to you, "Don't go anywhere," like it's a joke that you have any option to do anything. And then walks off chuckling, looking at her new sword. There are a bunch of people sitting around, like, with their breakfast. They've got, like, plates or bowls, like wooden bowls, sitting around on logs that have been knocked down around fires that are now kind of, like, looking at you, and they're all kind of, like, babbling in this, like, language you don't speak. And just kind of, like, eyeballing you, like, who are these strange people who've, like, wandered into our midst?
Can I make a... Actually, do I even have observation? I don't think I do.
I know, I don't...
I want to... I'm trying to figure out if there's a role that I can make to try to open learning their language.
Yeah, I mean, you can just do a beginner's luck test and just listen. And just, like, sit there and listen to them talk.
Do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that will?
I think languages are based on something. I don't know. It might be the average of the two.
That makes sense. Will and perception.
The skill is called Foreign Languages. It's based on perception.
Okay. So that's just a perception roll?
Yeah.
Straight, no modifiers, no...
Yeah, like, so basically you'll just make the test to try to hear some stuff now. Okay. And if you can get at least one, I guess you need 2 successes because that counts as double. Double. But if you can get 2, then yeah, I'll give you some bits and pieces. You can maybe pick out some of what they're saying.
Sounds good. Nope.
Oh,
not good enough.
No. Okay. Yeah, just like lots of sort of babbling. You can catch, like, it sounds almost like I don't know if you've ever heard, like, seen any of those videos of people who don't speak English pretending to speak English. Mm-hmm. So you recognize some of the same, like, vowel consonant structures, but can't, like, these words. Would you say horse? I don't. Yeah.
Is there a name for this language? Should I just write foreign language bandit?
Yeah, you can just put bandit language for now, and then you can figure out what it actually is later. So, yeah, so you're tied with you're like facing the pole, and you can kind of, like, see each other, and you could whisper to each other. You have your hands, like, tied over your head to this, like, wooden stick.
Oh, a nice sword.
I mean, it is. Yeah, definitely.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. They're gonna come back. Eckbert's gonna come. You can explain that Ilya is your friend, and that she told you whatever she told you, and that we are his friends. It'll be fine.
So you hear pretty quickly after she walked away, you hear a very loud argument approaching you, and you can kind of, like, turn your head to see where it's coming from. There's 2 women now. The woman you saw before, the redhead, and I can't wait until you learn their names so I can stop referring to them by the way they look. The redhead is joined by a younger, much more sort of civilized looking woman. She's like ash blonde. She's probably in her very early 20s. She's dressed in the same style as the other folk here, like kind of savage looking, not like more fur than cloth, but hers is like, Basil, you definitely noticed this. Agnes, it's up to you whether you noticed or not. Hers is definitely patterned in a more like urban sort of way. Like she looks like she's tried to make her clothes look a little more like civilized, and she has her hair done up in like a crown. I don't know what the actual haircut is called, but like your long hair made in braids and then put in a crown on her head.
Got you.
She's very pale, whereas mostly everybody else here is like quite tanned. And she comes out and she's like arguing with this woman who is also pissed, and they're just shouting at each other basically in this like language. And she gets close to you, close enough that you can hear the conversation. She stops, she puts her hand up, and the redhead like scowls at her, and she turns in your direction, still addressing her, and says in the like common tongue, she's like, "Cut them down." And she gets scowled at a little longer, and then the redhead goes and comes over and cuts down the cuts the ropes, and you're like released. And she comes over to you, the pale woman, and says, "I'm sorry. Hedwig is aggressive about protecting us. She thought you might be a threat, even unarmed."
Understandable. There are lots of threats here. It's not a problem.
"You are not from the village," she says.
No.
It's a statement, not a question.
Right. That's right.
"And I think," and she looks at you, Agnes, "I think I recognize you." Did you say anything?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So she just kind of like, "I'm sorry I'm being rude." She extends a hand. Well, she pulls off a glove first and then extends her hand to you, Agnes, because she's already talking to you. She says, They call me Winifred Stonebuilder. You can call me Winnie if you like." Extends her hand to you.
I guess I take it.
Okay.
Take her hand.
Shakes your hand. She turns to you, Basil, and the same thing. Just Winifred. It's her hand up.
Basil, handshake.
"You're a long way from the city," and she looks at the sword that Hedwig took from you.
The sword was... We came here. We came to the woods to use the swords, but not with you. Our work with the swords is done.
She kind of like grins and laughs a little bit. She's like, "I would say so. It's Hedwig's sword now."
It's fair. That's fair. The
Are
thing is...
Are you here looking for your friend?
That's right.
He's with Godric. I hope that he will survive.
He's with God now, is what I like.
He's with Godric now.
Oh, that's the deity's name, Godric. That's cool. It's like old-timey god.
Yeah.
Right.
Godric the Merciful. There's Godric and Godfrank.
Right.
God Wendy.
There's just God, but it's actually Godde. It's like an old, like a Middle English stuff.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so too. Is there any way we could see him?
I don't know. Godric doesn't like to be interrupted when he's working. I would take you to see Egbert, but she like gestures around. He's not here.
Where is he?
On his way to the village.
I see.
To what?
Grouchstadt?
She nods.
She said,
yes.
The village. I see. What do you know? Do you know the current condition of Grouchstadt?
What do you mean condition?
Do you know about the Duke?
She seems like kind of at a loss and seems a little embarrassed that she doesn't have like an answer.
The Duke is dead. What I'm trying to really gauge her response and me saying it.
Sure,
kind of
yeah.
like that.
Make an observation roll.
More skills I don't have.
Yeah.
Just give me this perception. That's probably definitely perception, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It sure is.
Yeah, surely is. But this one we'll make it open. The more you can get.
Just making sure there's nothing. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Woof. I'll take it.
Well, I mean, technically it's half a success, right?
So right.
Okay. No, it's hard to tell. All you can get is that like she blushes a little bit, and it seems mostly to be in like she's a little flustered, not that she's like hiding something or.
Okay.
And so she says maybe she notices you like staring at her or something, and she's like,
yeah,
it's cold outside. Come with me. And she turns and starts walking towards the tent that she came out of.
Follow.
Yeah.
She turns and she gives Hedwig an order of some kind, and Hedwig just kind of sneers at her and then nods and goes off to do whatever it is that the woman said.
I think like right before you guys are led inside, you hear like in the faint distance like a caw. like hopeless attempt at confirming whether or not you need help of some sort.
Yeah. No, it's
but it's like completely lost.
Good. Oh boy.
I'm sure that was nothing.
Yeah, that was strange wildlife here, huh? Weird. Okay.
All right. So she leads you into a tent, and or she goes into the tent.
Do we hear that?
Yeah.
The caw?
Sure. Yeah.
When we hear that, I say, Winifred, one second.
She stops.
I need you to know that we did not come here alone. There is a third of us. He was just watching to make sure that nothing bad happened to us. We didn't know what would happen. We didn't know what the condition of our friend was. We didn't know you. I wanted to let you know that, and he should be here for our conversation.
Interesting choice, telling me about this. You're so sure nothing bad is going to happen to you.
I'm sure that if you didn't know this, something worse would happen, given my luck.
She says, "Go ahead, you may call him."
Woodsman. We're fine. Come on down.
The woodsman sort of like looks around, sees I don't even notices him yet, and he's like, "Are you
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yes.
Like,
just are you okay?
We're all fine here.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so the woodsman sort of like tiptoes out slowly, and then I guess like, straightens his tunic and like stands up more upright and just sort of strolls nonchalantly forward.
Okay, so woodsman, when you stand up, you hear one of the guards like make kind of a sound, like not like he's surprised, he's like, and then Hedwig, who's standing nearby, shakes her head and just like cuffs him and like berates him for not noticing you the first time.
Oh.
You want to head down to the camp?
Yeah, I just walked down to them.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you walk down, and Winifred looks you up and down when you approach, and then says to Basil, "Are you sure that's all of them? No one hiding in the river, under a log, maybe?"
No, the only other ones. No.
You don't have any knights going to come riding down from the clouds?
I laugh. No, I have no knights in the clouds. It's a bit beyond my ability.
Well, I'm just being certain. Come with me. And she opens the like flap to her tent.
Let's head on in.
Okay. All right. So you go inside. So it's a big tent, like not like sleeping bag size. Like you can all fit in here comfortably. There's a like a wooden table in the middle. There's some chairs around the table. There's a big chest. There's a pile of furs off to one corner, and then there's a fire pit in the middle that's keeping the tent warm. There seems to be like something like stewing over it. And she says, "You took a big risk coming out here."
I hope it was worth it.
To find your friend?
Yes.
He's not.
What's
Then I just trail off.
He's not
our comrade.
Yes.
I'm
So
like smelling the stew.
yeah. Okay.
Checking it out. Yeah.
She notices you doing that, and she says, are you hungry?"
I pull a piece of bread out of my apron and take a bite.
Okay.
Like trying to pretend that I wasn't just smelling her stew.
Yeah. So she gestures to the table. She's like, "Sit down."
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, she sits down with you, and she says, "We saw you approach some weeks back with soldiers. We weren't sure why you were there, and no one had spoken with Johann for some time. What is it you were doing in Graustad?"
Has Johann not told you?
"I have not spoken with him, no."
Has Eckbert?
Eckbert is dealing with a breach. We have... And then she kind of like stops, and she says, "Eckbert has history with the Duke. It is being resolved. When we came to have a conversation with the Duke about this, my cousin, Eckbert, and his men found the soldiers. They had hurt your friend very badly."
Okay. I'm glad. Thank you for taking care of Rooster, our friend Rooster.
Surly, tired grumbling.
Our comrade Rooster. The Duke is dead. We came to talk to him because we also had a dispute, and on our way to talk to him, things came to blows, and a fight broke out, and he was killed.
I am sorry to say so too were your men.
After what they did to Rooster, I'm not sure they were my men anymore.
She nods. Perhaps it is better this way. If they had turned on you, I do not think you would survive the winter.
I think I agree with you. I look to Woodsman and Agnes, and it sounds like, from what Rooster had told me previously, they were dipping into the good supplies, and their presence was not good for the people of Graustad. I'd hoped that he could, and this is almost, it's becoming, his tone like shifts here a little bit into almost an apology to Rooster, who isn't there, right? It's like explaining his, it's like he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. That's what his voice is, right? Okay. I'd hope that Rooster could maybe intimidate them, get them back into shape, get them to understand that, you know, if someone as tough as him could do what's best for Graustad, then I was an idiot.
You do not seem accustomed to leading men. Who are you? Why are you here?
Great question.
We things have... Freiburg. You know Freiburg?
She smiles and you catch something like an enthusiasm. She like maybe leans in a little bit.
Okay.
Then she nods, maybe a little overly enthusiastic.
Things have changed there in the last few years. The men like the Duke need to change how they act. We were sent to make that change apparent to him.
Did you come to kill him then?
No.
Hmm.
He was a bad man, and I don't regret what happened.
She shakes her head and she says, only the gods make decisions like that. It's not up to us to decide who is good or bad.
So, what is it that you folks are doing out here then, if I may ask?
I don't understand. What is it that anyone does? We find food, we make clothes, we have children, we are living.
I see that. Perhaps you could elaborate on the nature of your settlement's relationship with the village, since we all seem quite concerned with it.
You will have to speak with Egbert about that. He is the one that manages these things. I am in charge in his stead, but I do not want to answer for him in this regard.
Fair enough.
Agnes, you said that Ilya knows Egbert, correct?
Ilya remembers Egbert from her childhood.
Ilya, this is the girl, the Duke's daughter.
Yeah, the Duke's daughter.
You would be best to not mention her name to Egbert. It is something of a sore spot, I think.
Good to know. What will you do now that the Duke is gone?
It is something that we are in council about. There is some disagreement. Hedwig believes that we should take over the village, especially if the Duke is dead. I think that once she learns this, it will only improve her position. Others do not agree so much.
It would be best for you if Hedwig's plan didn't go forward. When the spring comes and the winter melts, more from the city will come. And if you were in charge there, it will not be good.
Why?
That said...
Is an army coming? Do they plan to take the castle?
This is why we were sent. The Duke was holding his resources. He was keeping more than what he needed. And what's the name of like the Revolutionary Council back in Freiburg?
I think
it's like the Duke something, right? Like the Dukes are involved with that.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a subset of the Revolutionary Council called the Prisoner Dukes that are like dukes that were like, okay, cool, we'll go along. And
right. The Revolutionary Council and the Prisoner Dukes have decided that men like Egbert need to offer their resources to the many. Those who work the land deserve to prosper in the way that only Egbert had previously. Or not Egbert, geez. That only the Duke had previously.
I don't understand. This is what we would do if we had the village. They would work the land and eat the food that they grew and hunt the woods as we do. It would be as you say.
We took care of that for you. I don't know how you missed this, but we kind of, once that Duke was killed, and, he really he wasn't a good guy. He was kind of giving his people the short end of the stick, as Basil said, and honestly, I think he was a bit of a pervert or something. But The village is good to go at this point, so I don't see why you folks would be concerned with any kind of hostility towards the good people that work hard lives there now. At least they managed to sustain now that we've sort of set up shop.
I think the woodsman is right. I think that there's no problem between you and the people of the... Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know your histories. I don't know what the people of the village think of you. I don't know what rumors the Duke may have spread about you. I would hate to see it come to more bloodshed at this point.
Yes, you should certainly talk to Egbert about that. I think he will be home soon, but would you like to see your friend?
That would be great.
So she stands up. And
I glare at the woodsman when she says "friend," like anticipating his response.
And when you say that would be great, I say, yes, great.
He is with our healer, Godric. He's called Safe Passage. He takes care of us. I think your friend should be okay. Come with me. And she leads you back outside. And you hadn't noticed it before coming in, but coming out, like walking out into the open, the cold air is just like hits you in the face. Yeah, it's maybe colder than you had realized before out here. So she leads you to Godric's like tent, and you can smell like herbs, like burning sage or something, and there's like a smoke coming up from a hole in the top of the tent. So she says to you before, in like a way of warning, she says, Godric is, you may find him a bit strange, but try not to let it bother you. He's a very good healer.
Okay.
And she like opens the like curtain to let you into Godric's tent.
Head on in.
Okay. You get shouted at pretty much right away. Someone yelling like gruffly in that language that they all speak, that sort of sing-song language. And you see when you enter, immediately lying on a big pile of like furs in the middle of the room, on his back you see the rooster, and he's been wounded, but there's like thick like muddy like poultices over his wounds, and he's got strange like runes drawn on his like face and arms. So you see him right away as soon as you come in, and then you notice kind of like lurking in the shadowy corner of the sort of back of the tent, over a flame, there's a little like iron pot on a fire. There's a small man. He's maybe like just over 5 feet, and he's stripped to the waist. He's wearing pants much too large for him that have been like tied up several times with a belt, and he has a kind of like mantle of fur and like crow feathers that all kind of stick out. He's bald on top, but with like long graying hair and a big gray beard, but it's sticking out. He turns around, he's sticking out under like kind of bird mask that he's wearing.
Cool.
There's a bunch of like drying like herbs hanging from the ceiling of the tent in little like bundles. And so you have to kind of like push past them to get into the tent. And they leave kind of like an oily, they're kind of like they're oily, and they leave like a tea tree sort of smell on you, like a very strong like sort of herbal tincture kind of smell.
Does that smell like all through here? Are there other smells happening?
Yeah. There's a lot of it. There's very strong, and it's like kind of hazy in here from the smoke that's coming up from. He's burning like piles of incense in various places in the room.
Great.
She like Winifred like bows to him, and he just continues berating her. And then she says, Godric, these are the men's friends. They've come to retrieve him. And she says it in like, so you can understand.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns, and you can hear like muffled through his mask. He's like, "It's not time. Not time yet. Soul's still wandering around, trying to grab it up, put it back in. The hole's too deep." And he like turns back and continues like grinding something in his little like pot.
Does he have their accent, or is he a different?
It sounds like he has a different accent.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Doctors.
So Rooster, why don't we roll to see if he can take care of you?
Oh Lord.
Let's see how all this went for you. So you have a midi wound, right?
Let me take a look here. Yes.
Okay, so he's using herbalism to treat a midi wound. Thankfully, Godric's safe passage has many points in herbalism. It's almost the only thing he's any good at. Okay. So he needs the target number 4. I'm not going to detail all of his skills now, but I think he's probably got... I'll give him another 3 dice on top of his skill, because he's got equipment to heal you, and he's got other skills that will likely help. And let's see how that goes. Space obstacles 4. Oh yeah, fucking aced it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so he succeeded, and extra successes count as advantage dice for your health test. You get an extra 3 dice for your health test.
Well, that's good, because my health test is going to be difficult.
Now you may recover. So it's OB 3. It's an OB 3 health test.
Cool. My health is 1, but it's gray shaded.
Okay. And because those dice just get added, they're also gray shaded.
Yeah. And I can't fork anything on this.
Right, because it's not a skill test.
Okay. I'll add a persona point.
Nice. Okay.
So that gives me 1 extra die, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And if I just put 1 in the Artha, that's an extra die?
Yeah, that's what it means.
Okay. And my OB is 3?
Your obstacle is 3, yes.
Okay, I want to wake up and participate in this game.
Nice, you did it. All right. Cool. So you're conscious. It'll take you, roll 2d6. Okay, so it'll take you 3 weeks to heal off the second midi, but the first one is healed basically now. You get your die back right now.
Okay, so I'm down to...
For the sake of tracking it, just set your wound to a light.
Okay, yeah, so I have 1.
And then it'll go away in three weeks.
Okay, great.
So you wake up, and it's not like he did anything, but this is just like you happen to wake up at the sound of familiar voices, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So you see, you 3, when you come in, you see the rooster stirring.
Rooster.
And like you can see my hand just like pawing at my stump, and I'm just like, "Where's my fucking leg?" And I'm like trying to push myself up. And
did we bring it? Did we forget to bring
it? No, I mean I'm sure. I think the woodsman still has it.
Okay. Woodsman, give the man his leg.
Leg. Let's see. So he grabs his like pack from on his back, and he's like looking through. Like, okay, leg.
And so I think I managed to like sit up on this pile of stuff.
Where's my damn flask?
God.
All right. Yeah. Okay. And so I hand it to Basil, not the rooster.
Good. I'm glad I have to hand him his leg back. Good.
So Godric turns around.
Sorry, I was. Basil's like struggling to come up with words, and it's just like.
Yeah, and I think Godric like notices that you're like doing something. He turns around and he like pulls his mask up on top of his head, so the beak is like sticking straight up. And he's like super old and like shrivelly, and he kind of like squints, and his eyes are all like kind of cataracted over. And he sees you, and he sees you holding the leg, and he's like. Even I could not have prophesied this. A one-legged rooster that looks like a man. And what's that? A metal leg? How very strange. He like goes like waddles back over to like a chest and opens it and starts taking out like herbs.
Strange, yes.
And I just like take my leg, and as I'm taking it, I'm just like, "There's something wrong with your face, Basil."
Like, yeah. Yeah. How you feeling?
And I like look around this weird, like, witch doctor tent thing. Just, strange.
Yeah.
Healthy enough.
Godric, he's listening to the conversation and he's eavesdropping and keeps piping in. So when you say that, you're like, I feel strange. He's like, of course you feel strange. You're alive, aren't you? Besides,
this guy's the best. This is my favorite guy.
Besides, betrayal, those are the hardest wounds to heal. You should be thanking me, paying me. You should make me your king. I'm your king now.
I turn to Godric and I'm just like, do you know what I do to kings?
Oh!
He squints, like leans in. He like waddles over. He leans in, and he kind of like looks at you, and he's like quite close to your face now. And then he like just like pops something in your mouth, and he's like, "Don't talk, suck on that." And he like gets back up and like waddles away. He's like, "King Godric, I like that."
My God.
And so he's stuffed something like some like bitter like ball of like sap and like herbs into your mouth.
Yeah.
Good.
Rooster takes his medicine. He knows better than to question it.
I'm just like in the background. Simmer down there, Rooster.
I just start like trying to find all my shit. Like I've got no shirt or anything. Like I'm just.
Yeah. I mean, you realize you're like naked aside from the like fur that's been draped over you.
Yeah. So Rooster starts walking around the tent naked, basically. Like,
okay. Sure.
Kind of
okay.
awkward for everyone.
Unfazed.
Yeah. Winifred, do you know where his clothes are?
She's just kind of like trying not to stare at Rooster. And
and I think like my various brands are visible now, which I haven't seen. Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Godric again pipes in. He's like, "Clothes? What does a rooster need for clothes? Where are your feathers? You look like a plucked chicken. Ha! I burned them, threw them away. Bad spirits anyway. Betrayal. Stunk on them. You don't want to wear those. You'll just get stabbed in the back again."
Was I had coming?
Wise man, I guess.
Yeah.
And I like turn to Winifred and I just like up nod at her and like, "This is your place? You have something for me?" She
says, "Yes, I will get something," and she like takes that as her opportunity to fuck off.
Before she like escapes the tent or whatever,
yeah, she turns.
I grab her arm and I'm like, "Hey, Winnipeg, what is it? Look, here's the thing. I usually don't partake, but all this blood and guts and medicine and stuff makes me squeamish. Do you have anything that could calm the nerves, perhaps?"
Oh my God!
Just while you're getting his clothes.
She nods and she says, "Yes, that sounds like a very good idea. Come with me." And she kind of like pulls you with her outside. All right, so you two head off to her tent.
Okay.
So inside, Basil, Agnes, and a very naked Rooster.
And like, I think Rooster makes some comment about like being in the slave markets or something. Like, there's some very
like I haven't
shit going on. Yeah.
It's
like, oh, I haven't been like this for a while, and like,
right. Yeah,
shaking his head. What happened?
I made a big mistake. Is what happened. A real big one. They.
I don't, my memory, maybe Basil, is a little.
I've made a lot of big mistakes. I get it.
I feel like I told you about this one.
Yeah. Anyway, they tried to kill you.
I know about that part.
There was a guy named Eckbert. Eckbert And Agnes, you said he used to be in Grouchstadt?
Yep. I'm like kind of aimlessly wandering around the tent at this point, not really listening.
Okay.
I'm just like, yep.
You still work for the Duke, and they had a falling out. And Egbert either fell in with the people here or gathered him to his side. I'm not quite sure. And it seems like they were on their way to Grouchstadt to deal with a dispute with the Duke when they stumbled upon our men. Not our men, the other revolutionary, the army, and killed them and recovered your body. And thankfully King Godric here nursed you back.
He turns and like gives a little like flourish when he hears his name.
Yeah. That's what happened. And thankfully the woodsman, I guess, caught wind of the fight down by the logging camp and saw your leg and came and got us.
Godric turns and he says, Egbert was going to get his money. That's when we found you.
His money?
We managed to convince them not to eat you. And he like winks like he's just kidding. And then he says, but be careful. And he kind of like takes like a nice long like look up and down. And he's like, be careful. I think Hedwig still might.
And I like give him a look.
How much
matchmaker too, huh?
King Godric, how often did Egbert get paid?
Once a year. That was the deal. Once a year.
So some rogue knight, he's been abandoned in the hills.
Godric shakes his head. No. Bandit. Pff, we're not bandits. Highwaymen. We don't rob. Don't steal. It's tribute.
Protection money. I mean, I've seen that too. By the way, Basil, thanks for your help with that.
Right. What was the name of the dude we locked in the prison again?
Gustav.
My notes are garbage right now. I bet that was Gustav's money. I bet that's what Gustav was doing with that money. This is all just the best. This is all wonderful. Can I have a breakdown? Where are those clothes?
All right, so yeah, that's perfect. Where are those clothes? And then meanwhile, so Winifred has we will cut to the woodsman and Winifred in her tent. There's a jug, like I guess a pewter jug, and two pewter like goblets with wine in them. She passes one to you, woodsman.
All right, I take it and immediately take a sip.
Yeah,
and finish it.
Yeah, she pours you another one and then starts drinking hers. And she says, "So you're from the city?"
You could say that.
I've heard rumors, bits and pieces. My family sent me here to live with my cousin after some nastiness in the north. But I have been cut off. No news reaches us here. Grouchstadt is even too far away. So, living in a camp some miles from it, you imagine I have lost track of things. Tell me, what is the city like?
Honestly, ma'am, you ought to count yourself lucky. The revolution happened, and it's wild to me that you don't know about it, but it hasn't really changed things for the better. And the city's the same it's always been, as far as I know it. Still politicians, still corrupt. But now there's a curse that hangs over all of us.
She's like just like rapt, like listening to your every word. And it's not so much that she's like paying attention to you, but you can see her imagining like a revolution in the city and like a curse. And she says, this is quite the story. I would like to see the city. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, well, maybe it is for some people, but you have fun with that. Hey, you got those clothes for Rooster Man?
Yes, yes. We had a thrall for a time who was about his size. Let me see. And so she goes over and starts digging through a chest, and pulls out some fairly like plain clothes. And she says, "I think that these should do." And then kind of like looks at the door and looks at you and gets a little like uncomfortable or nervous. Like she doesn't like want to go necessarily, but doesn't want like she's not sure what to do. You can see her hesitate.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Nothing. No, nothing. Let's go. And yeah, and she leaves.
So I don't know if there's any signals in regard to like the nature of her hesitation. Can I like roll observation or something, perception?
Sure.
I don't.
Yeah, you can make an observation test for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so you got a success. There's something in the tent that she, like in that direction, something about going back, it's like intimidating her. Like she doesn't like being there. But whether it's Agnes, Basil, Godric, or Rooster, something there is putting her off, or making her feel like she doesn't want to go back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess sort of observing that, the woodsman is then like, "Hey, look, if you all aren't doing so well here, if there's something going on amongst y'all, we've got, well, Basil's got things, fairly under control back in the village. If you all need to, get settled in a new place, or, maybe get a little more comfortable, it looks like you're roughing it."
Make a soothing platitudes test. We'll say Ob 2. So I think it's supposed to be her will. Ob 2. Nice. Okay. So she smiles, like shyly, but she smiles, and she says, "We live a rough life out here, but it's not so bad as all that. Though I would like to visit a castle one day. Perhaps I will come back with you when you go to Groustad. It might be time for me to see it."
Well, I'm sure that could be arranged if you feel that that's your place. But if you ask me, the woods out here are a much more peaceful place overall.
She kind of nods like that's a very wise thing to say, and says, "Let's go and see your friend. I'm sure he's getting very cold now." And she like tucks the like bundle under her arm and heads out.
All right, I'll just give me a moment. I'll be right out. And does she leave?
She waits like politely by the door.
Okay, I wanted to grab the whole bottle or jug.
Yeah.
Of, but I wanted to do it if she wasn't watching. I don't want to do it if she is.
Okay, sure.
So,
yeah, I think there's maybe a moment of like kind of awkwardness, and then I guess you follow her.
Yeah, I guess I kind of like look at it like we're forgetting someone, but then just sort of like reluctantly follow her out.
No jugs left behind. Awesome. Okay, so I think that when you come outside, or maybe when you get into Godric's tent, when Winifred gives you the bundle of clothes, Rooster, and you can hear hoof steps outside, like hoof beats on the cold ground, the sound of a handful of men like returning, and Winifred looks, I guess, to you, Basil and Agnes, and says, "That will be my cousin. Egbert is back. If you'd like to speak to him, now would be the time."
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a lot of things to clear up.
Okay. All right. So maybe let's take a break, and then y'all can talk to Egbert and company.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Stick around. We'll be right back.